Yeah, so let's go back to talking about the supporters of President Donald J. Trump. Um, Obviously, we're dealing with some sort of authoritarian type of guy who thinks he should be able to arrest anyone who opposes him politically, with or without any kind of criminal pretext. And he's doing it like over and over and over and over again. I mean, the latest thing is about the Epstein nonsense. So he just decided to deflect his own. Well, it looks bad for him right now in what's being released from the email. So he's like, well, let's just find everything on Clinton and anyone else. Why any of these people were hanging out with Epstein is a whole nother question. But so here we go. And now we're back to, what do we do with the supporters of a guy like Donald Trump, who's completely violating all of the democratic norms in this country, seems to love Putin, likes authoritarian type like Netanyahu. Well, shit. Didn't he fall in love with the guy from North Korea? The dictator from over there? And then we fell in love. All right, Mr. Trump. So, when we get back to democracy in this country, what are we going to have to do to re-educate the people that voted for Donald Trump? Because he came right out and said during his first run for the presidency that his supporters would support him even if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue. And then after he said that, his supporters still voted for him. So now, obviously, something has to be done about educating these kind of voters. How are we going to have a democracy if that's the kind of voter that we have out there? Someone that would vote for Donald Trump after he comes right out and says, they'll vote for me even if I shoot somebody. And then they vote for him. It's just nuts. Well, I would say that for the ones that have no high school or college education, I would say you can probably leave them alone. But for the ones that are, the higher educated you were when you voted for Donald Trump, the more culpable you are, even today. Even if you say, like after the bad things happen when, because of Trump. Even if you say, well, now I know better. You were too smart you were too educated to know better from the get-go. So I would say that anybody who had a college degree or higher and who voted for Donald Trump should do time in a re-education camp. And they should be fed just like I was in the military. I was a volunteer person in the military. They should receive just as good food as I did. And if it's possible, they should receive hot chow. We received a lot of hot chow when, during training and all that. But if whatever they're doing doesn't allow for hot chow, well, they'll eat MREs, which is basically weenie and beans out of a can. But that'll be fine. I lived on it voluntarily, serving my country. But these people chose a traitor who incited a riot on January 6th, who almost destroyed our country. And now he's back in office, and he's trying his best to destroy this country. And they need to learn that they were wrong. They need to be taught. I don't know how long it'll take. I mean, I guess they'll have to take a test, a democracy test. Multiple choice probably, but whatever. They'll have to prove that they understand that Donald Trump, they'll be made to answer that Donald Trump was a traitor, rebel, who tried to destroy American democracy. And that's what he did. And they'll have to admit that that's who they supported.